help in the Houston hurricane relief, the first sea volunteer from Venezuela arrives in the U.S. to lend a hand. Cardinal Peter Turkson pays a visit to Taiwan and meets with Master Cheng Yen while learning more about Tzu Chi. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shoda. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program in central Mexico, where Tzu Chi's disaster relief team is caring for quake victims in San Gregorio, Atlapulco. During the assessment period, volunteers found that even if the memories of the earthquake were still fresh and painful in their hearts, the residents stand united, ready to move forward.
The massive earthquake which occurred in San Gregorio City united the hearts of the Mexican people.
This is a collection center. Volunteers bring food from the same town. Neighbors from other towns came here and leave us their donations. We sort them and then we deliver directly to their house.
After the earthquake, we as a community organized ourselves to bring goods. People began to visit the stores. They donated sausages, rice, soup, cream, whatever the townspeople could donate because we did not receive support from the government. The people started to cook and we went to distribute with pots of this size, rice and sausages. A 10-kilo rice pan caters for 200 people. We did that night 5 times, feeding 1,000 people.
We're making some medical kits that bring bandages, gauze, alcohol. If they come here, we also just give it to them.
The work that I have done here is very satisfying because I came to help the people, which is something I enjoy doing very much, more than making money for myself.
The people are very participative, not only from the town of San Gregorio, but the whole city.
San Gregorio is a hard-working town. We all had to unify ourselves. We are all friends. We all know each other and we greet each other.
The whole town has united.
In addition to providing relief goods to the residents to get through the difficult times, there are spiritual companionship and support where it is most needed.
As usual, I go down to get the children to school. The smallest I took to the market. In a matter of seconds, and the ground shook. The church was brought down to the ground. At that moment, I grabbed my daughter and I said, "Come on." She asked me, "What is happening, Dad?" "Nothing, honey, nothing." Right when we were turning around, the wall fell on top of us. My daughter was killed, and it took one of my legs. My friends got together and started lifting the slab because it was very heavy and I was bleeding.
We all ran to look for both the old man and the relatives because he was coming out of the hospital. We helped him. We brought food rations from this collection center.
What I have seen is support, a lot of support from my family who have brought pantries from all sides.
We are bringing food, drinks, and we already have a wheelchair. We as a community will support him to overcome this heavy trauma.
For the moment, I would like them to support me financially, a pension for me and a scholarship for my children. Yes, it is very difficult, but I have to keep going. I have to fight for my family. I have 4 children and a wife.
Moving to the United States, Tzu Chi has been challenged by the latest aid distribution in Houston's Mesa area due to the region's high crime rate. After Hurricane Harvey's devastation, over 90% of the affected residents haven't received assistance yet. Thanks to the help of the local young people, Tzu Chi was able to conduct their first aid distribution in this area successfully.
This is Houston's Mesa area, and the government is still busy restoring the city. This area was severely flooded a month ago, with 98% of it being affected. Take this house, for example. The floodwater at the time was as high as 60 centimeters. It doesn't sound very serious, but all of the furniture inside the house and the building structure was soaked in water. The Mesa area is inhabited by many Mexican Americans and African Americans, leading to the problem of poverty and a high crime rate. It is almost a neglected community as there was no assistance from other places after Hurricane Harvey. Fortunately, Tzu Chi pitched in to help.
It's just a miracle to just have you guys to come out here and to work with us in this community. I am grateful for everything that you're doing. My family is grateful. and we thank you so much.
As many Mexican immigrants do not speak English, Tzu Chi volunteers recruited volunteer translators at the site, receiving a lot of positive feedback.
Okay, well, look, I'm here to volunteer just the way that y'all come out here and do the same for us. You know, I think I have it in my heart to kind of help y'all out. I know I'm here to translate. I speak, you know, the Spanish.
Sandra has transformed from a hurricane victim into a volunteer translator who guides local residents to receive cash cards successfully. This church, which is the spiritual home of Mesa area, serves as the site of the distribution. Worried about the process of the distribution, the pastor of this church hurried to the site as soon as he completed surgery on his eye.
We want to make sure that we were able to do something, and thank you all for what y'all did, and for making sure people got what they needed.
The pastor's wife also feels moved.
I'm grateful. I'm very grateful that you came down to try to make some assistance here. And I'm just happy. And these are tears of joy. They're not tears of sadness.
When no one cared about them, we entered their community to give them hugs and tell them that everything will be fine.
It's okay. It's okay. 我们到了。
Thanks to the help of this community volunteer, Tzu Chi is able to conduct this distribution in this community, which has a high crime rate and many illegal immigrants.
It was separated, it's more in the residents, but we're trying to make sure that everybody gets hit in the same, because if anything, everybody would come and just try to, not take, but receive things, but if you focus on one zip code, I've seen it, it's worked perfectly. You could easily make it happen for the rest of the communities.
31-year-old Eduardo is enthusiastic about charitable events. With his help, his family and a group of young people go door to door to visit the victims and check the list of affected households to provide assistance in their time of need.
Tzu Chi's disaster relief for those impacted by Harvey continues in Port Arthur, Texas, where 80% of the houses were flooded. To provide financial aid for the victims, Tzu Chi volunteers recently distributed cash cards at a local school.
This blonde-haired girl is looking around curiously by her father's side.
Jessica?
Jessica?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Jessica. How old are you?
How old are you?
How old are you?
3.
Jessica came along with her father to a school's gym in Port Arthur to receive the cash card distributed by Tzu Chi volunteers.
Now our family's kind of split. She's only 3, so she often wants to go around, but there's exposed wiring and there's still maybe loose nailings or different things like that we might not have gotten, and so it's kind of more dangerous for her, so we don't want her to get hurt.
Another affected resident is single mother Georgina, who brings her 3 daughters here. She was evacuated to somewhere else before Hurricane Harvey met landfall. However, misfortunes never came singly after she returned home. Her house was flooded and her car was damaged. The school where she works was also severely affected.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for coming so far.
It's just awesome that you all have come to help us. You don't know that people really care until things happen like this. You know, we see things, we read about things like this, and we see it on television, but until it happens to you, until you're actually affected by it, it's a different thought.
Among the Tzu Chi volunteers is Sonny Zhang, who consoles the victims on behalf of his father, George Zhang, who is the CEO of Tzu Chi New York chapter and is currently hospitalized due to an illness.
I had made a, just a commitment to myself that, if he were to get better, I would want to come and do these events with him. But unfortunately, he's still not in the state where he can come out and volunteer, so I figured why not just come out here while I had time.
Tzu Chi volunteer Simon Xiong expresses his gratitude to the volunteers who came from different parts of the world.
Tzu Chi brothers and sisters in Canada also came here this time. Besides, our Dharma families in Dallas also traveled 5 hours from Dallas to come here before noon.
With the love and care of the volunteers, these hurricane victims will feel warmth and blessed.
To help in a 2-day Tzu Chi aid distribution for residents impacted by Hurricane Harvey, volunteers from Venezuela came especially to lend a hand. Among them is Wu Ruanyun, who is the first seed volunteer in the South American country. When she saw how moved the hurricane victims were from receiving aid, she too also felt the same joy. It's moments like that which inspires her to continue Tzu Chi's missions in the unstable country of Venezuela.
Tzu Chi Texas chapter is holding this 2-day distribution. Volunteer Wu Ruanyun from Venezuela also came to help. When she sees the hurricane victims in tears, she cannot stop her tears either.
It was inspiring to see the volunteers helping them. I've never seen any group that can do charity work as good as Tzu Chi.
Wu Ruanyun is Tzu Chi's first volunteer in Venezuela. Despite the political instability and social unrest, she still persists with helping the poor and giving them relief goods. Her husband has always been her biggest supporter.
I feel what she does is correct and right. It is the right path in the world, so I'm blessed and I support her.
Wu Ruanyun came to visit her sister in Texas some years ago and came to know Tzu Chi. And local Tzu Chi volunteers have always been very supportive of her Tzu Chi work.
Whenever she's holding a distribution, I'll become nervous. I'll call her 2 to 3 times every day and tell her to be careful with the distribution.
Before she returns to Taiwan to receive her volunteer certificate, she went to Texas to help and to revisit her initial vow.
After I reached this self-understanding, I feel that doing Tzu Chi missions isn't difficult. If you just give and do not think about receiving any return, everyone is able to do it.
Every sincere embrace witnesses that love is the best strength in consoling suffering people.
Pesticide abuse has become a public health crisis, leading the Bureau of Animal and Planet Health Inspection and Quarantine to develop a draft amendment to provide plant specialists to work with farmers. It is hoped special counseling can reduce agricultural production costs and reduce pesticide residues. These specialists not only need to study plant-related courses in college, but also need to apply their expertise through field surveys and tests.
It's hard to imagine that this long row of lychee trees don't use any pesticides at all. All the trees are strong and very healthy.
There's one old man who has been planting lychee his whole life and was an expert. His grandfather started and it continued for 3 generations. He said it was impossible not to spray pesticide.
Lai Yamei is from Taipei. She says she is not a professional farmer, but 2 years ago, she learned that one sick farmer couldn't take care of crops, so she mobilized volunteers to help out. The harvest yielded thousands of US dollars, which were used as medical expenses for the old farmer. When he passed away, she took over these 90 lychee trees and decided not to use pesticides, which shocked many people.
We were really lucky and had a good harvest this year of about 1,000 catty.
Up there are many things, including a hornet's nest.
Hornets are safe in this orchard along with other insects seeking shelter. Lai believes that there is a reason for all creatures to exist, as there should be no interference with natural ecology, as we should all find a way to seek balance.
Some friends and farmers think that I am crazy, but I really want to promote a harmonious cycle.
With more turning to organic farming in the countryside, some businesses are starting to turn to non-toxic pesticides, which use green ingredients instead of chemical pesticides. Previously, this was a Chinese medicine business. However, it has changed its business focus as it won't sell chemical pesticides, offering organic options, though they may be slower and more expensive.
Farmers may be wary of these products I'm selling and think they are not effective when compared to the chemical pesticides they used before. They only need to use it 3 times and then take a rest.
While farmers may choose chemical pesticides because they are inexpensive, when one weighs the impact on the environment and human safety, there should be another option.
这种看起来有点白白的这种啊，就是粉丝。
Coming to visit Kaohsiung's Meinong area is a plant specialist Gao Peilin, who is ready to take samples in the field as she tries to find the problem with this crop.
I have placed 10 sheets of glue traps in this area to monitor the whitefly situation.
Gao Peilin is a plant specialist and last year came here to bring her practice. She hopes to help farmers alleviate their pest and disease problems and prescribe the right treatment. Under the microscope, these translucent green dots moving rapidly between the veins are a pest. Gao Peilin does field sampling to determine pests and diseases, or viruses and bacteria. Later, she is able to make a recommendation to farmers about what medicine they need to control the problem.
Take a look at this phosphorus acid with potassium bicarbonate. Do you want to use it again?
Through this special counseling, farmers are expected to save costs in terms of pesticide use by 30 to 50%, and also help other creatures such as bees reduce the risk of pesticide residues.
Before, when we had a problem, I would talk to my husband and we would apply more pesticide. But now we consult this plant expert and get the right treatment, which has saved a lot of costs.
However, when this young plant specialist goes into the field, she may be challenged by more experienced farmers.
She has no experience, so how does she know what sort of treatment is needed? Experience is definitely very important.
So far, legislation to enable these plant specialists has yet to pass, as many specialists who sell pesticides say that experience is vitally important in this profession to make the right diagnosis.
The right prescription is needed, not like other shops which want to sell a lot of pesticides. Most in this profession haven't undertaken rigorous training and have no experience.
Nobody supervises the use of pesticides and how our farmers applies it. Do they need to be more professional? I think they should. So we need assistance from plant specialists.
The problem of pesticides has become a public health crisis, potentially requiring more regulation and management or a more complete system of oversight. Employing professionals to manage this issue may be an important step, potentially a solution to our current problem regarding the overuse of pesticides.
The Tzu Chi Foundation has enjoyed a long-term relationship with the Vatican since 2013. Recently, Cardinal Peter Turkson, prefect of the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development, traveled to Hualien Sabo to meet with Master Cheng Yen.
And that becomes that. And from here you make that choice. And from this you make the...
Vatican Cardinal Peter Turkson discusses environmental protection with Tzu Chi. He says the Pope is also very active in promoting this topic and hopes to bring DaAi Technologies, means of processing PET bottles, back with him.
This movement has a friend in the Vatican because you visited there twice already. And as I said, if there's anything or any way that we can collaborate for the well-being of humanity and for the well-being of our environment creation.
These two religious leaders discussed the need to come together during disasters. For example, Tzu Chi's aid to the Philippines after Typhoon Haiyan, which includes rebuilding a church to help restore the faith of the people.
人类不分种族、不分宗教，共同一个理念，那就是爱，善待人类。 善待地球，这样的方向呢，是一定要全球的人要一起。
This visit by Cardinal Peter Turkson helped him learn more about Tzu Chi's 4 main missions: charity, medical, education, and humanities. With more understanding and cooperation, both groups can work together on the common goals of spreading love to all of mankind.
Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide give out scholarships to help impoverished but worthy students pursue education. Let's take a look at the scholarship distributions in China and Japan, where in Japan, scholarship recipients took on different tasks to help the awarding ceremony.
Tzu Chi Japan chapter is holding its scholarship distribution for the second time. This time, scholarship recipients take on different tasks, working as hosts, introducing Tzu Chi, or sharing their volunteering experiences.
I've been worried if I would become everyone's burden. However, Tzu Chi volunteers teach me kindly.
I gave them the rice balls I made, sharing the warm feelings. They were very happy. It is a very good activity.
Although there are only 5 scholarship recipients, Tzu Chi volunteers are very mindful in their interactions.
From the looks of the students, I can see they are filled with strength. Now they have food and can continue schooling next year. They can realize their dreams in the future.
In Suzhou, scholarship recipients also take on tasks at the scholarship distribution this year. Scholarship recipients from 7 migrant worker schools take to the stage to perform Tzu Chi sign language songs. Their teachers or parents also feel very warm.
I feel very blissful listening to this song. Being around Tzu Chi volunteers and receiving their help makes people feel blessed.
During the process of learning the song lyrics, the scholarship recipients also gained a lot.
After dancing, I feel grateful to my parents.
The volunteers bow as they deliver their sincere wishes, and the children also know how to reciprocate this kindness. Filled with love and gratitude, the children are ready to pursue a brighter future.
The students of the Tzu Chi Great Love Preschool in Singapore began visiting Veggie Planet in June of this year, and throughout the 3-month program, teachers at the school used different ways to teach the students the true meaning of being a vegetarian. Holding on to their parachutes, the students land on Earth after their visit to Veggie Planet. Tzu Chi Great Love Preschool began their Veggieland campaign in June to encourage students to adopt a vegetarian diet. In these past 3 months, the teachers used different methods to get the students to understand what being a vegetarian means.
Our students are younger, so when you just tell them, they might not remember. So we use games, storytelling, and videos to get the children to understand the importance of a vegetarian diet. If you knew you're being sent to slaughter, how would you feel? You'd cry, be sad, afraid of pain. What else? Scared, right?
Intently watching the video, the students have gained a compassionate heart towards animals, and their certificate bears witness to their determination in protecting animals.
I eat a lot of vegetarian food each day. Yesterday, I ate a lot of vegetables.
If we kill animals for meat, then their parents won't be able to find them.
The Veggie Planet campaign has ended, but the students promise to always love animals. As part of the Jing Saffrism teachings at the DaAi Kindergarten in Panda Indah, Malaysia, students were asked to spread their love and care to care recipients. The 6-year-olds could learn how to create more love in the world by helping out those less fortunate than them. We'll leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us today. See you next time.